Good afternoon, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and today is Sunday, February 9th, 2014. This is a technical analysis stock trade ideas for the week of February 10th, actually. So first one we want to review a couple that we got stopped out on Friday. The first one is Caterpillar. We'd gotten in this on Monday, thought we were going to get a nice little move to the downside and pull back. Got this close on Wednesday below the low of Monday. And then with the big moves on Thursday, Friday, we pulled back up and it closed above the high of last Friday. And that's where I said, okay, that was going to be my stop. Enough is enough. I was thinking, well, maybe if it swung up above higher intraday and then closed back down, we'd stay in, but it didn't quite do that. So minus 2.91 points on that trade. And, at this point in time, I think the main thing with the volatility that we're getting, we've really got to play solid defense. You've got to decide, when you're wrong, and you need to know when you're going to be wrong as you get into the trade. So that's where we were wrong. And on Zillow, we got stopped out because we got a close above the 10-day exponential moving average and then a close above the high of that day is kind of a confirming close to me. And that signals strength to me. You never know, but that was going to be, and it'd been 10 days since we've been in this trade. We got in on Monday the 27th, and the entry was 80.78, and it'd been 10 days, and so it was going to be time to, call this one in anyway. So that's the exit on that. The initial risk was 7.25 points. We ended up minus 5.02 on that trade. All right, the next one after Zillow, these are ones we're still working. Canadian Solar, we're still in, but we are looking, if we get a close above Friday's high, to exit. And you want to give it a couple points of move. So 38.92 is the high. I would say 38.97 or higher. We're out on this. And then, if it doesn't, if we stay in, because it's been 10 days on this one also, I'm going to just have a running stop that, my stop's going to be close above the prior day high. Okay, so if we don't get it on Monday, I'm going to have the same type of trailing stop. And hopefully we start to get this coming our way and move on down. And then if we start to do that, we'll set a target that says, okay, where are we going to sell half our position at a minimum? The next one is Melco Crown Entertainment, MPEL. This is the same thing. We almost got, we were looking for the same type of setup on Friday. We had said exit if a close higher than today's high at 40.92. Well, it's 40.94. I'm not going to exit on 1 or 2 pennies above the higher. So now I'm saying a close above the high, but it's going to be 41.14. So greater than 41.14. So 41.15 or higher. Then we'd exit. And then we're going to, I decided to set the target right here at 37.26 back down here to sell at least half the position. So we'll just look to see if we start to get this. We still got DI minus above DI plus, which should start to get the selling rolling over and going our way. But this has been a fairly strong stock in terms of the bullishness has been, pretty strong on this. And sometimes it just takes a while to roll over if it's going to roll over. So that's the way we're going to play it out and see what happens in the next couple of days. So that is Melco. And then we want to go to CHIU 360 is the next one. And this was a reversal bar play. Okay, so we were looking at a close below this reversal bar, pretty strong reversal bar. And, Thursday we had a big move up in the market, but this still stayed down. Started to go, came back down. And then Friday we got a little bit of an up move. But, we still get this the divergence was part of this setup, too, that kind of said, okay, that's why it would be, I thought this might be a good reversal thing. Kind of back over here where we had this reversal bar, got the close below it, went sideways a couple of days, and then a nice downdraft. So, like to see this, because if we start to get the downdraft, we could break this trend line and we'll see what we can get beyond that. So still playing this one out. Las Vegas Sands, LVS, we were looking at the The initial setup was a close below this one here because we got the close above the 10-day and said, well, sometimes we rally back like this, kind of like this, close above the 10-day, and then we start to sell back off. Got to close above the 10-day. Now, so I was looking for, a selling if we close below the low of this day, but we didn't get it. So now we're just rolling it over to Friday and saying now, if we get a close below the low of this bar, which would also put us below the 10-day, I would look to sell or buy puts. And so that's where I'm kind of looking for on LVS as a trade idea going into the beginning of this week. And then a new one I wanted to talk about is CTRP.com. This one is kind of interesting, and it may have run its course on the pullback. We'll see. We've had 5 waves up, okay, and a completed impulse wave. So I'm looking for this corrective action, which typically will correct 50 to 61.8%, sometimes more, sometimes deeper, but this is the typical range. We've gone 50% now. We closed this big gap in prices that we had here. Let me blow it back up a little bit. Okay, we closed this gap. Now there is another gap down here. So it is possible that we could continue the selling and come on down and close the gap, but right now we're starting to get some indication that the DI minus did not go to a further low on the selling, and the RSI is getting bullish divergence in here also. It did not go to lower lows as we're getting selling. So there's some indication that the stock wants to turn, and given that it's pulled back at least 50% already, closed this gap, with those indications, I'm like, okay, maybe this thing is going to start to turn. I'd like to see, I wouldn't jump in here tomorrow. I would like to see the 10-day get above the 20-day and get a couple of nice closes above that on the stock above the 10-day. Notice we've got, so we'll be monitoring this on a daily basis. And notice we got earnings after the market on Wednesday. So we're just going to have to play this one day by day and see what it gives us over the next couple of days, especially with the market. So that's it for today. We'll be back in touch on Tuesday evening. So have a great couple of days. This has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. Thanks for stopping by.